12 Shocking Secrets of Jesus' Disciples Revealed at Midnight. You won't believe 7. The clock struck 12, echoing through the darkened room like a heartbeat in a silent night. Shadows danced on the walls, twisting and turning, whispering secrets lost to time. It was then that Nathan stumbled upon a leather-bound book hidden beneath the floorboards, a relic covered in dust and mystery. The air thickened with anticipation, his heart raced like a wild stallion. As he opened the book, the scent of old parchment wafted up, mixed with a hint of something sharp, like burnt offerings. The words within weren't just stories, they were secrets that could shake the foundations of faith itself. He blinked in disbelief. Could these really be true? The first page revealed a name that turned Nathan's stomach, Judas Iscariot. But this wasn't he, the Judas of betrayal. This was a Judas who had a family, a life that linked him to the great exile. The scribbles hinted at a hidden treasure buried deep beneath the roots of Mount Olives. Nathan's eyes widened. What if this treasure held the very last gospel, the truth they didn't want to be revealed? The whispers of those who claimed to have followed Jesus suddenly felt larger than life, electrifying the air around him. As he turned each page, a flush of anxiety gripped him. Peter, the Rock, was exposed not just as a leader but as a man who once wielded a dagger with deadly intent. The descriptions were raw, filled with a fear that pierced his heart. It was writing that spoke of rage and remorse, pushing Nathan closer to the edge of what he thought he understood. With every word, he felt tension tighten in his chest. How could the disciples be such paradoxes? His fingers trembled as he reached what appeared to be a map, edges crisped like a secret waiting to be unveiled. He looked around, half expecting someone to leap from the shadows, to challenge him, to tell him to stop. The room felt charged, alive, whispering for him to dive deeper. Was this where his journey began? A wild surge of adventure called to him, but with it came a dread that gnawed at his gut. Something was hidden here, something worth fighting for. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who is part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Suddenly, the wind howled outside, rattling the windows like a warning. He paused, caught between fear and exhilaration. What lay ahead? As Nathan pored over the pages again, he felt time slipping away, the shadows closing in, and a question loomed larger than all the secrets. Would he dare follow the path that could lead to the truth, or was he destined to remain a mere witness to history rather than a part of it? The chill in the room intensified, crawled across Nathan's skin, and gripped his throat. He had to decide. The map lay before him, its lines twisting like a maze of fate. Did he dare follow the whispers of the past, or should he close the book and walk away, leaving ancient secrets buried in time? With a deep breath, he chose adventure over comfort. The wooden floor creaked under his weight as he stood, determination igniting within him like a flame. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, the shadows seemed to pulsate with a life of their own. Still, he clutched the map tightly, his knuckles turning white. What attracted him was more than the treasure, it was the possibility of unearthing the truth hidden from generations. The very notion that Judas, long vilified, had a story intertwined with redemption pulled at him. He had to learn more. He quickly gathered supplies, some rope, a flashlight, and a hastily scribbled note with the map instructions. As he headed for the door, a faint sound stopped him in his tracks. A soft tapping echoed from the window, rhythmic and persistent, like fingers drumming on glass. Nathan's heart raced. Was it just the wind, or was someone or something trying to get his attention? Peering out, he squinted into the night, shadows blending with darkness. Except for the wind, everything was still. But deep down, he sensed he wasn't alone. He should have felt fear then, but instead, the thrill of discovery burned brighter. Was this the call of destiny? Or was it signaling danger? He shrugged it off, convinced that only ghosts from history haunted this place. With one last glance at the book, he slipped it into his bag, remembering the words that hinted of a family hidden in the folds of treachery, the remnants of a powerful legacy buried beneath the Mount of Olives. The night air washed over him as he stepped outside, starlight illuminating the path ahead. He walked briskly, his mind racing with thoughts. What treasures awaited him? What consequences? Each step felt like a heartbeat echoing through time, the thrill pushing him onward. As he approached the base of the mountain, the darkness seemed to thicken, wrapping around him like a shroud. The trees stood tall, their branches like skeletal arms reaching into the sky. The sound of rustling leaves filled the silence, but there was something else, an uncanny whisper, a voice he couldn't quite catch but felt resonating within his bones. "Find me," he paused, breath hitching in his throat. Was it his imagination, or was someone trying to communicate? Eager yet terrified, he scanned the area, the flashlight beam trembling. The words urged him onward, knitting a sense of urgency deep in his core. Then it happened. A flicker of movement caught his eye from behind a tree. Nathan froze, pulse pounding against his temples. There, cloaked in the shadows, stood a figure, watching him with eyes that seemed to burn with ancient knowledge. The figure stepped closer, revealing a face half hidden beneath a tattered hood. "Do you seek the truth?" it asked, voice raspy like dead leaves scraping against pavement. Nathan felt a rush of adrenaline. This was it, everything he'd dreamed of, hanging in the balance, teetering on the edge of the unknown. He nodded slowly, heart hammering. But the figure's next words chilled him to the bone. "Are you prepared for the cost? Some truths come with a price," and just like that, the air thickened with foreboding. What kind of sacrifice awaited him? Did he have the courage to pay it? As the figure leaned closer, an understanding washed over Nathan, one that could change everything he thought he knew about betrayal, loyalty, and faith. But a loud crack of thunder ripped through the night, and the figure vanished, leaving him standing alone, heart pounding. The shadows were alive, and secrets deeper than he ever imagined were just within reach. What lay ahead? Would he uncover the truth that others had failed to find, or would the specters of yesterday claim him too? Nathan stood at the foot of the mountain, breath visible in the cold air. The clouds rolled overhead, shadows swirling like a tempest. The atmosphere hummed with tension. His heart raced as the recent words from the figure echoed in his mind. Some truths come with a price. In front of him stretched a narrow trail, faintly illuminated by the flickering beam of his flashlight. Each step felt burdened, almost like stepping into quicksand. As he moved forward, the path began to climb steeply, and the trees closed in around him, their branches weaving a sinister web overhead. He couldn't shake the feeling that eyes watched from the dark, hidden observers cloaked in mystery. The faint whisper returned, "Find me." It danced through the branches, a lullaby of secrets that wrapped itself around his thoughts. Who or what was calling to him? The curiosity swelled, gnawing at his insides. The trail twisted and turned, and every shadow seemed to shift, more than mere silhouettes. The flashlight flickered, casting eerie shapes on the rocks. Nathan felt it again, a prickling sensation crawling up his spine. Each snap of a twig sent his heart into a frenzy. If he wasn't careful, dread would consume him. Suddenly, he stumbled upon a clearing bathed in ghostly moonlight. In the center, half buried in the earth, was a stone archway crudely adorned with symbols he couldn't decipher. It stood proud against the darkness, a sentinel of time. A gateway? He murmured, stepping closer. Crouching, he brushed away dirt with trembling fingers. The symbols began to glow faintly under his touch, illuminating messages of a forgotten language. The thrill of discovery surged through him like electricity. What if this was the key to understanding? But an unsettling shift in the air sent him reeling backward. He turned, anticipating movement, something lurking in the shadows. And there it was again, the figure reappeared, this time drifting between the trees. The hood fell back, revealing an ageless face etched with wisdom and sorrow. "You must choose, Nathan," it rasped, eyes shimmering with intensity. To uncover the truth is one thing. But to face its implications is another. Why me? What is this place? He could barely contain the rush of questions. The legacy buried in this mountain does not belong just to you. It stretches back to those whose names were etched in glory and betrayal, the apostles of old. A chill washed over him, the mention of the apostles igniting a spark of fear. What about Judas? He asked, voice low. Is he part of this legacy? Are his secrets here? The figure's smile was bittersweet. Judas carries burdens, but so do you. His truth is intertwined with yours. You must unlock it, but beware, the truth can fracture souls. As Nathan's heartbeat echoed in the stillness, the apparition extended a hand, beckoning him closer. The air thickened with energy. The price is steep, but the reward infinite. You wish to find truth, Nathan, but are you ready to face what it reveals? With that question reverberating in the air, Nathan stepped closer, the archway pulsing with light. He felt the pull, the irresistible urge to cross over, to unveil the hidden layers of history. But a sharp crack echoed through the clearing, louder than thunder, and he was thrown back into reality. The moment flickered, and the figure vanished once more, leaving Nathan trembling alone among the trees. The night's silence was deafening, a stark contrast to the chaos whirling within him. He gripped the map tightly, uncertainty gnawing at him. As he stared at the archway, something shifted dramatically in the dark. A shadow flitted past, more substantial than mere fear. Someone else was here, and they didn't want him to uncover the truth. Heart racing, Nathan realized he couldn't turn back now. The shadows called once more, promising answers to questions he didn't yet know to ask. What would he find if he stepped through the archway? Would he return with knowledge, or would he lose himself to the depths of betrayal? The silence shattered as if a window had broken. Nathan's pulse quickened, and adrenaline coursed through his veins. He squinted into the darkness, searching for the source of the movement. Shadows danced wildly, their shapes contorting as if taunting him. The archway loomed behind him, now a beacon of both hope and dread. Nathan came a breathy whisper, wrapping around him like a cold wind. He stiffened, every instinct urging him to flee, but he couldn't move. His feet were rooted in place by an invisible force. Show yourself. He shouted, the challenge breaking through the veil of fear. From the blackness emerged a figure, cloaked much like the first. Its features were concealed, but the presence felt charged with malice. The air thickened, and Nathan could taste the tension, metallic and bitter. He raised his flashlight, illuminating a pale, elongated hand reaching toward him. Careful what you seek, the intruder hissed, voice laden with warning. The mountain does not forgive the unworthy. Nathan swallowed hard. Who are you? An echo of the past, the figure replied, stepping closer. Their voice shifted, gaining a familiarity that sent chills down his spine. I once sought the truth, too only to find that the echoes lead to despair. No. Nathan protested, shaking his head. He thought of the legend, how it could not echo the end, the stories of betrayal and sacrifice begging to be unearthed. I'm not like you. I'm here for answers. The figure laughed softly, but it held no humor, only a hollow reverberation that felt like knives sliding down his back. Truth is a double-edged sword, it warned. You will carry the weight of betrayal. The legacy you seek is a tangled web. Before Nathan could respond, the figure gestured to the archway. As if awakened, the symbols flared brighter, illuminating the clearing with a ghostly light that danced and flickered like flames. Step through if you dare, it taunted, a hint of challenge in its tone. But understand, what lies beyond may shatter your soul. Nathan's heart hammered in his chest, straining against the weight of his resolve. He wanted to understand, to confront the darkness hiding in the shadows. But did that mean embracing a fate similar to the one that echoed behind this figure? What if I refuse? Nathan asked, voice barely above a whisper, revealing the tremor of uncertainty. It will find you anyway, Nathan, the figure replied, its eyes glinting in the light. The secrets of Judas are not contingent on your approval. They fester like wounds, waiting to be unearthed. Gritting his teeth, Nathan took a step toward the archway. He remembered the figure's last warning, the price is steep. Shadows seemed to swirl, encroaching, pressing against him like a suffocating blanket. A thunderous crash echoed above, sending a shower of stones cascading down the mountainside. Nathan's instincts screamed to run, yet the archway pulsed invitingly, visions of the hidden truths flooding his mind. The whispers grew louder, compelling, demanding. With a deep breath, he reached forward, ready to grasp the mysteries that waited. But just as he crossed the threshold, a sharp scream ripped through the air. A familiar voice, his heart sank with recognition. No, Nathan. Don T. Time froze, and Nathan turned back, eyes wide. The cloaked figure mixed with the shadows, an ominous grin on its face as the darkness swallowed his choices whole. Was it too late? Would he forge deeper into the abyss, or was he already trapped in a fate spun by unseen hands? An electric jolt of fear coursed through him as the shadows shifted once more, and the reality he thought he could grasp began to slip away. What was waiting on the other side of that archway? Or worse, what if Nathan was led into a trap from which escape was impossible? Nathan staggered back as the scream echoed in his ears, the sound ricocheting through the clearing like a ghostly warning. He felt the prickle of dread crawl up his spine. His heart pounded a wild drum in the uncertainty wrapping around him like barbed wire. Sarah! He shouted, desperation breaking his voice. Panic surged as he turned fully to face the figure, the shadows now swirling ominously around him. The figure loomed larger in the flickering light, its grin twisted and cruel. She's fine. For now, the figure hissed, its voice slicing through the air. But if you stay, Nathan, what awaits you is not mere truth. It's a reckoning. The archway whispered, beckoning him, yet Nathan could feel the weight of his own dread guiding his steps back, away from that invite into darkness. But a part of him, an insatiable part, yearned for answers, for the unveiling of secrets that could finally shed the light on his family's cursed legacy. Let her go. Nathan barked, his resolve hardening against the dread. I didn't come here for you. I came to unveil the stories of those who came before me, not to dance with shadows. Laughter erupted from the figure, cruel and mocking. The stories and shadows are intertwined, the truth you seek is nested within betrayal and blood. You wish to defy the darkness. You're already in its embrace. With every word, the shadows grew thicker, enveloping him in a chilling grip. He could almost hear Sarah's breath, a rhythmic reminder of the danger he stepped into. The archway pulsed again, its symbols in a frenzy of light battling against the gathering dark. Nathan! The shout broke through his focus, and he turned, catching a glimpse of Sarah at the edge of the clearing, her face a mask of fear. Get away from there. Please. His heart clenched painfully as he met her pleading eyes. It tore at him, a visceral reminder of everything at stake. Could he risk it all for the sake of knowledge? Or should he heed the warning of a warning filled with betrayal and despair? Leave her out of this. He shouted, spinning back at the cloaked figure, but the weight of his fear hung heavy in the air. The figure raised its hand, and the moment felt shrouded, poised on the precipice of something cataclysmic. You think you can reject your fate? It whispered, the shadows seeping closer, coiling around him like snakes. What if I told you the truth you seek comes at an unspeakable cost? Are you truly ready to unravel the tapestry sewn with threads of sorrow? His hands trembled as doubt clawed at the crevices of his mind. The archway's light flickered brighter, illuminating the mark of Judas on the stone. Recognition washed over him, a realization of just how deep the lineage of deceit ran. I wouldn't let it claim me. Nathan shook his head defiantly. This time I'll expose the shadows instead of succumbing to them. The dark figure erupted into a cacophony of laughter, and then, with a sudden shift, it turned its eyes toward Sarah. She's a piece of the puzzle too, Nathan. You can't disassemble a legacy without understanding what holds it together. A surge of panic coursed through Nathan. Let her go. His voice cracked under the strain, the urgency exploding within him. But the figure only pointed, the air crackling with a dark energy as the ground beneath began to tremble. "What is your choice, Nathan? Face the truth, or run and leave the truth to fester?" The archway behind him pulsed violently, a heartbeat of ancient secrets, begging him to step forward. But as he glanced back at Sarah, desperation forging a bond of courage within him, he felt an unshakable truth: every step he took forward could pull them both into the abyss. What was the cost of the knowledge he craved? And could he ever truly escape the labyrinth of their past? The ground shook violently, throwing him off balance as shadows erupted from the archway, tendrils of darkness reaching greedily for the pulsing light. Nathan braced himself, torn between the hunger for understanding and the desperate need to protect that eye in the chaos. A voice rang clear: "You must choose your truth, or your past." But remember, the echoes of Judas can never be silenced, and with that final word, Nathan understood, the real battle was just beginning. What had he truly unleashed? Would he seize control of his fate, or was he destined to relive the cycle of betrayal? The ground beneath Nathan quaked, the shadows swirling like a tempest, keen to engulf him and his resolve. His thoughts raced faster than his pulse, a tornado of fear and determination. The figure's laugh pierced through the chaos, taunting him, daring him to step into the dark truth, to embrace the inevitable. "Choose, Nathan. The light or the dark." The voice slithered around him, heavy with menace that he looked back at Sarah, her fear palpable, swirling in those wide eyes that begged for safety. Panic surged through him. Was she really fine? Or was that just another cruel jest? Time was unraveling, stretching and folding like the shadows in the air. "Sarah! I won't let anything happen to you," he shouted, gripping the archway's stone pillars. The cold surface bit into his fingers, grounding him against the onslaught of overwhelming dread. The cloaked figure stepped forward, shadows curling protectively around it. Brave words for a man standing on the brink of destruction. "Do you think love will save her? Cowardice will only drag you both down." Nathan's heart thundered, fighting against despair. The shrill laughter echoed, a dissonant symphony that drowned out his thoughts. He shook his head violently, trying to dispel the noise. Nothing was going to drag him into oblivion, not while he could still fight. Suddenly, the figures from his ancestry slipped through his mind like phantoms, his father's warnings, the family secrets woven through generations, each a link in a treacherous chain. Could he break free without losing everything? "Tell me what I need to know," he bellowed, desperation fueling his voice. "Reveal the truths of my bloodline. I will face whatever shadows it brings." The figure paused, tilting its head, as if savoring his defiance. "Ah, now you're speaking my language. The truth is a double-edged sword, Nathan. It cuts deep and leaves festering wounds. But it seems you've already convinced yourself that you can handle the truth." Bright light flared from the archway, illuminating the clearing, casting stark shadows that danced across the ground. The darkness hissed back, swirling angrily, and for a moment, Nathan felt the tangible tension between both forces, the dark and the light. "Let us make a deal," said the figure, its eyes glinting, a sinister spark igniting the air. "You wish to uncover the truth of the past, but it demands a sacrifice. Is there anyone you're willing to give up?" The weight of those words sank deep into Nathan's gut. He gritted his teeth, picturing Sarah's frightened face. Betrayal gnawed at him, but so did the hunger for knowledge. What was the price of awakening the secrets? "No. You can't have her. I won't allow it," he shouted, desperation strangling his words. With a sweeping gesture, the dark figure painted a picture, shimmering visions of ancient deeds, chilling confessions of bloodshed and sacrifice. Each revelation felt like a blow to Nathan's spirit. He staggered back, trembling, caught in the grip of the figure's spell. "Your lineage is stained, Nathan. The gift of knowing your truth is weighed against those who have suffered. Can you bear the burden of such knowledge? Remember, the path you walk leads to shadows darker than you presume." The world spun around him, the archway's light pulsing, demanding. "Choose. It seemed to chant, igniting a fire of reckoning within him. Gritting his teeth, Nathan forced his fear aside. He stepped forward, his voice steadying. I may face shadows, but I will not be a prisoner of them. I will take the knowledge back to her, to my past, and break this cursed cycle. The cloaked figure twisted into a mocking smile. Very well, Nathan. But prepare yourself. The truth is a restless specter. Are you ready to confront it? As Nathan nodded, the ground beneath him cracked open, revealing an abyss lined with whispers. An unearthly chill raced through him, and the world fell away. Sarah's screams echoed against the backdrop of consuming darkness. With a final pulse of light, Nathan felt himself teetering on the edge of an unknown, realizing his journey had only just begun. What new depths of truth awaited him, and what horrors had he truly set in motion? Nathan plummeted into the darkness, heart racing, as shadows clawed at his consciousness. The cold closed in around him, wrapping him in a suffocating embrace. He focused on Sarah's terrified face, a beacon amidst the swirling chaos. He couldn't lose her. Not now. Not ever. As he spiraled deeper, voices began to sharpen, whispers swirling, weaving tales of despair and triumph. The abyss flickered with scenes from his lineage, each one a piece of a puzzle he had never asked to solve. His ancestors' faces contorted in pain and regret, shadows that echoed his own flickering doubts. Why do you fight so hard? A voice came from within, soft yet insistent, like an old friend. You seek the truth, but can you afford to know it? Silence. He shouted into the void, the word tasting bitter on his tongue. I want to know who I am. The darkness responded with laughter, a cruel echo reverberating through the chasm. Through the laughter came a flicker of a memory, a recollection of his father's relentless warnings. People had lost everything seeking the truth, and betrayal was the cost to bear. This self-inflicted weight threatened to crush him anew, but Nathan's resolve blazed brighter. Show me. He yelled, grounding himself in that fierce desire for knowledge and courage. If only to save her, show me. Suddenly, the darkness shifted. Images sprang forth like a twisted slideshow: betrayals, alliances, sacrifices. Each grain of truth electrocuted his heart, causing it to seize. There was his great-grandfather, a bloodied figure standing over a fallen enemy, the battlefield thick with fog and deceit. He screamed as vivid horror filled him. Dark family histories relived meant darkness unleashed. Do you see, Nathan? The figure whispered, creeping closer, shadow merging with the plight of his forebears. This is your legacy, rooted in blood. Suffering begets suffering. No, I can break it. I refuse to be part of this. But with each defiant assertion, the shadows lunged, encroaching on his resolve, intent on dragging him down into their depths. Every flick, every sin illuminated, pushed him further toward despair. Suddenly, the tableau shattered. Sudden silence fell. The weight of 10 generations loomed heavily, and Nathan felt the abyss sucking away his light. Tell me what you want. He shouted, his voice cracking under the strain. What do you desire from me? What price for my love? The shadows coiled, pulling back to whisper serpentine nothings. All knowledge demands a toll, Nathan. You wish to be free. You must embrace the darkness within. A flash of bright light broke through the oppressive darkness, illuminating a path ahead. There, he saw it: the choice. It shimmered like a mirage, the potential to unlock secrets, but at the cost of those he loved. If you wander this path, prepare for loss, the cloaked figure warned, with eyes like coal. There are parts of you that will shatter. Nathan hesitated. The words echoed, haunted him. Memories of laughter, of moments spent, filled him. All he wanted was to ensure Sarah was safe. Could he sacrifice those precious memories? Was knowledge worth the devastation? It's not just a truth, it's a treachery, the shadows hissed, swirling ominously, closing in again. Are you willing to face it? Are you ready to turn betrayal into triumph? With tentative steps, Nathan grabbed the shimmering light, heart pounding. He couldn't let it consume him. But then he felt a sharp, piercing pain, a flick of darkness entwining his heart, a soft assurance suffusing his screams. "Let go," it whispered, sweetly seductive. As he squeezed his eyes shut, fragments of memory flared before him, each one pulling, pushing, spiraling him toward an unknown fate. This was the moment that would reshape everything. Could he withstand it? Then a sharp crack sounded, the very ground beneath him split, creating an opening that seemed to swallow light and hope whole. With sheer desperation, Nathan stumbled forward, reaching for Sarah, knowing their fates hung by a thread. What sacrifice would the darkness demand? Would he lose everything trying to save her? The void beckoned, a siren song that sang both of salvation and doom. But one thing was clear: he would pay the price, whatever that might be. And so, as the blackness pulled him in, he braced for the impending storm of revelations, realizing the chaos was only just beginning. Nathan erupted from the darkness, mind ablaze. He landed hard on a cold, damp surface stone beneath him, slick with moisture. The air was electric with tension. Every fiber in his body screamed for escape, yet bound him with heavy chains of unresolved fate. Gasping, he opened his eyes. A dim light flickered around him, illuminating jagged walls that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. Distorted reflections danced off the stone, figures hidden just out of sight, watching him. An unsettling feeling crept up Nathan's spine, chilling him more than the cold stone around him. "Sarah!" he called, his voice trembling. There was no response but the echo of his own fear reverberating in the cavernous darkness. The air felt thick with despair, as if walls themselves bore down on him, whispering regrets too heavy to bear. That he pushed himself up, scanning the surroundings, frantically searching for any sign of her. Was she trapped here too? Or had the abyss already taken her? Every heartbeat felt like a countdown, each tick mocking his desperation, stirring up memories of their laughter that now felt like ghosts haunting him. The shadows began to shift, swirling as if in anticipation. Nathan took a careful step forward. Shadows writhed and twisted, forming vague shapes there. One took a more distinct hue. His great-grandfather's face from the visions, draped in darkness and fear, loomed ominously ahead. "You can't escape the truth," the figure whispered, each word sharp and cutting like a blade. "It resides in the marrow of your bones. Now, you must choose, knowledge or ignorance. Leave me alone." Nathan yelled, rage ballooning in his chest. He dashed past the apparition, heart hammering against his ribs, pain tightening around him like an iron vice. With every stride, it felt like the darkness reached for him, fingers grasping at his soul. As he barreled through the twisting paths, fragments of his ancestors' stark realities flooded his mind, overwhelming senses with each revelation: betrayals over love, partners turned enemies, alliances sealed in blood, all intertwined in a tapestry of heartache that echoed the tales of legends long forgotten. He stumbled upon a doorway, its outline faint, but a pulse of warmth radiated from within. Was that hope? The desire to see Sarah again drove him to it. Nathan strained against the heavy door, each movement resisted by the very shadows he fought against. With a final push, he crashed through, illuminated by ethereal light pouring from within. Inside, he found Sarah, but she was not alone. A figure loomed over her, cloaked and menacing, blending seamlessly into the shadows. "No!" Nathan shouted, adrenaline surging. He raced toward her, but the dark figure turned, revealing its face an echo of his own. A cruel twist of fate, a reflection of all he feared, the darkness within him made flesh. "Seek and you shall find," it taunted, voice as smooth as ice. "I am what you could become, Nathan. The truth you crave has a price." Time froze. There stood his love, terrified, and spinning around truth and betrayal. Nathan felt himself being pulled into an unspeakable conflict, the battle for not just Sarah, but for himself. "No more!" he shouted, a primal roar emanating from somewhere deep within him. The very ground trembled. "I will fight this." The twin of himself grinned, unfazed. Fight? Or embrace? As the shadows stretched toward him, threatening to envelop him once more, Nathan summoned every ounce of courage. Could he reshape his legacy, find light within this darkness? The world pulsed with energy, a tense moment hanging like a fragile filament. Everything hinged on the choice he was about to make. Would he succumb? Or would he find a way to redefine his fate? Nathan's heart raced uncontrollably as he prepared for what came next, knowing it would change them forever. With shadows closing in, he took a step toward the chaotic energy swirling around, realizing one undeniable truth: knowing the darkness meant standing directly in its path. Was he strong enough to confront what lay ahead? As the darkness surged, Nathan could feel the weight of his family's sins, the chilling dread threatening to pull him under, feeling so real. Would he unravel or rise? The final truth was waiting, and the cost was about to be revealed. The shadows collapsed around Nathan, a thick cloak of despair and choice. His dark twin grinned, eyes glimmering with cold malice. "You don't understand, do you?" it taunted, gliding closer, weaving between the fingers of darkness like a master puppeteer. "Every choice you make feeds this darkness. Every denial ekes away your hope." Nathan felt the weight of its words. Each one pressed down, sinking into him like lead. He stole a glance at Sarah, her eyes wide with fear, pleading silently for him to take action. The depth of her trust anchored him, a flicker of light in the oppressive gloom. He clenched his fists, shaking off the panic that gripped him. Fueled by desperation, Nathan took a step forward, heart racing. "You're not me. You're just what could be. I want to become you." "Oh." The darkness within him mocked, moving closer still, like poison creeping into a wound. It reached out, brushing against Nathan's skin. He shivered at its cold caress. "Think, Nathan. Family legacy, shadows of the past. You're already lost. All you have to do is embrace it." "No." he shouted defiantly. "I will break this cycle. I'm choosing my own path." The dark figure's laughter echoed, a chilling sound that skittered along the stone walls. "Choose then, but know this: knowledge is not the savior you think. It's a blade that cuts you from both sides. Make the wrong choice, and she falls deeper into the void with you. Stop it." Nathan screamed, throwing his head back as anger flared inside him. "Stop trying to control my fate." And then he saw it, a glimmer behind Sarah, a light illuminating an ancient sigil etched into the stone wall. Its glow pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat. Something deeper within him responded to that light, pushing against the shadows, suffocating his spirit. That he darted toward the sigil, each step revealing memories of the past that danced just out of reach. His ancestors' failures, their heartaches, spun around him like a cyclone of pain. "Run!" the dark figure yelled, lunging after him. "You'll never win." But Nathan couldn't stop. The sigil shimmered, its light wrapping around him like a warm embrace. With each stride, he felt the darkness begin to weaken, fracturing at the power of the truth before him. He reached the sigil, placing his palm against its ancient carvings, feeling the warmth surging through him. In that electric moment, a flood of clarity washed over him. The truth of his family's legacy was intertwined with betrayal, yes, but also with courage. Each painful memory was a step on a path to redemption. Embrace the truth or lose everything. The dark twin screeched, claws of shadow reaching for him, scraping the air near his face. Nathan gritted his teeth and cried out, "I choose truth. I choose to fight." As he pressed harder, vision blurring, the sigil exploded in radiant light, illuminating the cavern, washing over everything. It was as if a dam had broken, releasing memories both beautiful and terrifying, mingling love and pain, joy and treachery. The walls pulsed with it, distorting in response. Nathan felt a deep connection not only to Sarah but to every ancestor who had fought against their own darkness. Together, he and Sarah could reshape everything. But then, just as suddenly, silence fell. The ethereal radiance flickered, and Nathan froze. Only a whisper permeated the stillness, "You think you've won?" This is only the beginning. Before he could process the words, shadows surged forward once more, swirling like a storm. An immense force yanked him back away from the sigil, thrusting him into the depths of despair. The battle wasn't over. As the void threatened to engulf him, Nathan's heart thundered loudly in his chest. Would he escape this time? Or was he doomed to remain trapped within the horrors of their legacy? With one last glance at Sarah, a promise hung in the air, a vow that ignited hope amid chaos. And as the shadows loomed even closer, defining his struggle, the truth rumbled through him. What awaited them at the end would shatter everything they believed. Was there a path forward? Would he and Sarah emerge from this dark chapter unscathed? Nathan's heart pounded like a war drum, drowning out the whispers and the echo of time itself. He stood at the apex of his family's haunted legacy, shadows swirling around him, begging for his surrender. But the light still pulsed from the sigil, its warmth like a beacon in the suffocating darkness. Sarah! He shouted, voice crackling. He felt her presence, a steady force amidst the chaos, her eyes pleading with him to hold on. He focused on that connection, drawing strength from their love, knowing they could face this together. The dark figure lunged, but Nathan stood firm. You're not me. You're just the reflection of what I refuse to become. The shadows whispered, pushing against him, wrapping around his ankles. But he gritted his teeth, clenching tighter around the truth he had found. As the darkness hissed, he took a step closer to Sarah. The sigil glowed brighter, casting long beams that illuminated the cavern's chaotic walls. We can break this. Nathan called out. Together. He felt Sarah's grip tighten around his wrist. What do we do? She asked, her voice steady despite the trembling in her hands. Trust the light. We have to face it together. With those words, he closed his eyes, drawing in a deep breath. Memories flooded back, hints of laughter, shared hopes, and a future that felt limitless. His family was entangled in betrayal, but that didn't define him. It could be rewritten. A fierce determination swelled within him. Let us expose the darkness. He shouted, planting himself firmly against the shadows clawing toward them. The dark figure laughed, a sound wrought with malice. You think you can vanquish me? I am every shadow, every regret. I will always exist within you. No. Nathan yelled, eyes blazing. You're just a piece of an old tale. I choose to write my own destiny. The sigil flared to life, a blinding light that cut through the shadows like a knife. As the light erupted, the darkness began to tremble, recoiling from its brilliance. Shadows peeled away from Nathan and Sarah, the sinister whispers silenced by the radiant glow. Now! Nathan shouted, pulling Sarah closer. We need to touch the sigil. It's the key. They charged toward it, hand in hand, pushing through the last barriers of darkness. Just as they reached the sigil, shadows clawed back, desperate to reclaim their hold. But Nathan felt an unwavering strength coursing between them. With a united shout, they pressed their palms against the glowing sigil. The moment their hands met the hot surface, a shock wave ignited through the chamber. Their surroundings shattered, a mosaic of light and dark, and in that very instant, Nathan saw their paths through history, unfolding like an ancient scroll. Betrayals blurred into acts of love, and darkness twisted into shades of redemption. His ancestors danced through the scenes, liberated at last from the shadows that bound them. Embrace who you are. Sarah cried, eyes filled with determination. Together, we are unbreakable. With that affirmation, the sigil erupted in a blinding explosion of light, scattering the darkness until it dissipated into nothingness. The chamber trembled, shaking loose the chains that had bound them both to the weight of the past. In that moment, Nathan felt the chains of his family history shatter. The shadows of betrayal no longer defined him, they became lessons, shaping him into someone who could rewrite their narrative. The last remnants of darkness faded, and Nathan stood on solid ground, heartbeat steady, the air thick with a newfound sense of freedom. He looked at Sarah, chest rising and falling as relief crested between them. She beamed back at him, hope radiating from her smile. They're free, he whispered, realization dawning on him like the dawn breaking after a long night. They've escaped with us. Glimmers of past silhouettes faded into the light, their faces serene as they transitioned into something beyond their pain. Their shadows became a testament to Nathan's courage and the love that had anchored him through the storm. But what about, he began, eyes scanning for the dark figure. Its absence echoed in the silence, a reminder that its challenges were not entirely vanquished, merely transformed. It doesn't matter, Sarah said, squeezing his hand. What matters is that we don't have to carry the burden alone anymore. As the last remnants of darkness vanished, the sun's warmth enveloped them, wrapping around them like a tender embrace. They emerged from the cavern, hand in hand, ready to face whatever lay ahead. With the mountains standing proud against the horizon, Nathan turned to Sarah. This is just the beginning, isn't it? Only if we refuse to let the past control us, she replied, standing tall, vibrant, and unbroken, eyes sparkling with life, and for the first time since their journey began, Nathan felt a surge of hope. They would carve their own path, redefine their legacy, and write a new story, one woven with love, light, and resilience. Together, they stepped into the day, ready to embrace the unknown future. As they walked, hand in hand, into the world waiting beyond the shadows, Nathan knew they would create their destiny come what may. Now that you've witnessed this incredible conclusion, it's time to take action. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and support us. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. Let's hear what you think. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support means everything. The journey continues, and we want you on this ride.